Hello, everyone, and welcome to Camping with Lenny. In this episode, how to make your camping cozy and comfortable. This episode is brought to you by me, Camping with Lenny. Help me create great content by supporting this podcast by buying me a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/campinglenny. Thanks for your support. Being comfortable in camping is very, very important in my opinion. Reason why is very simple. You want to make sure that your experience camping out the outside feels like home or close to it. So, we're going to go through some of the stuff that I do to make my camping a lot more cozy and comfortable. We'll start with the kitchen. I know everyone's talking about something else, all that stuff, but for me, kitchen is very, very important for me. My kitchen setup has to be comfortable and usable. So I'll tell you a couple of things that have made my life a lot easier when I go camping, especially my camping setup, my camping / kitchen setup. I think that's a little tongue twister right there for me. So we'll start with the kitchen setup. So what I use is the in Ontario campsite in Ontario. You get a picnic table. So what I've done last year, especially the latter part of last year, to make my stuff make it a lot more comfortable, is my washing basin, affordable washing basin. I have two of them. I put it on the top of the table itself, and I actually have this footstool that the collapsible footstool that I use to tie things and all that stuff to elevate myself up because I'm not that tall. So I use that and put my water bin on top, my little water faucet thing. And now when I wash the dishes, everything just is there. So I just open the faucet, water will go down, and voila, I wash my dishes from that way. Now I don't have to bend over. Right, that's one of the biggest things that what I've noticed when people are going camping is how they wash their dishes. What I've noticed that everyone's doing it in the floor and doing it in the ground. If you do it in the ground, this means you're bending over and you're like on the ground wet. At least in this setup, you're actually elevated. You're actually standing up, washing your dishes, right? And again, you don't have to bend over. That will make your life a lot easier and a little bit more comfortable, right? The other way as well too, when I set up my kitchen, is I cook on top of the table instead of in a chair or whatever, or on the ground. Because if you do it on top of the table, it feels like you're using a stove at home. So now, again, eliminating the bending over portion of it. Now, you're a lot more comfortable cooking. You're standing up. You can walk around. You don't have to be crouched down trying to cook. At least this way, you'll be more comfortable, right? And also, what I've done as well too. I have the old camping stove or camping burner that you put on top of a propane bottle, right? The small ones, not the big ones, but the small ones. What I've done is I actually put that on a chair where the picnic table is. Now it's the same height as everything else, especially as soon as you put in a pot, right? So now you're not bending over, all that good stuff. So in other words, make sure everything's elevated. I think that's the key word here. If everything's elevated, you're gonna be a lot more comfortable. Okay, so that's one of the things that make myself feels more like at home when I'm camping. The other one that I try to make sure that is very, very comfortable is my camping chair. Camping chair is incredibly important because you be sitting in that camp chair, especially in your downtime or in front of a fire, and or with friends and family, you just want to have a nice conversation. Having a proper camping chair that is super, super comfortable, it's very, very highly recommended. What I've done to pick my proper chair for my camping is I go to the store. I literally allocate about an hour at the store trying out every single chair that I think is going to be comfortable. What I've done as well too is I sit down. I actually physically sit the way that I want to sit in the campsite, and feel if there's any pinching point or is there any areas that's going to give me very comfortable sitting arrangement. The way you sit is it can be comfortable. Is it like not enough back support, or is the crossbar underneath your leg pinching your legs together, or is there any pressure points in the chair that's going to be very annoying after 10 minutes in? So there's not a big science on this, but I definitely recommend that you guys grab the chair, sit on it, and sit on it well, right? And if you find the chair that you want, there's a good chance that the chair that you want that feels comfortable is pricey. So you have to look at the price of being comfortable while camping versus getting something cheap and being uncomfortable. So again, it does not mean that the most comfortable one for you is the most expensive. It could be the most cheapest and the most comfortable for you. But again, just try it out. Try it out and make sure it fits you properly. The other one as well too that I do want to talk about, especially in your chair, is cup holders. Some chairs are the fancy ones, not well, all of them now actually. Some chairs are not allowed for you to put anything hot, right? And because the plastic will melt, that's understandable. Some of the cup holders are incredibly small. So be aware of that. So what I suggest, if you go to any stores with the camping chairs and bottles or anything like that, you try out the cup holders. What I've done is go find yourself a Yeti coffee mug and put it in there and see if it fits, because Yetis are typically big. If it's big and if it fits there, you're good to go. But remember, don't go too big or else your beverage of choice might fall. So just be aware of that. And some seats do have dual cup holders. Try that as well. What I've noticed as well too, I've done this in the past, is put my phone on the cup holder if I'm not using it. Check it, see if it fits in your cup. Your phone fits in those cup holders, because it's kind of annoying if your phone does not fit and you don't know where you put your phone in. That's going to be a problem. And also some chairs actually has a little pocket in the side, like a Ziploc, not a Ziploc, but a sealed, like a, almost like not a shelf, but it's a bag within the armrest. Some seats are considered as a thermal, so it's insulated. I suggest you don't put water in those, because they're a bad thing. Because of mold and all that stuff. So I typically stay away from those things because they're, in my opinion, they're kind of useless. But if they're not insulated, they're just there to hold stuff. Make sure there's a hole at the bottom of that little cubby, so water can drain just in case something's wet inside. So just a little food for thought there, and that will make your life a lot more comfortable. The next one that I want to talk to you about being comfortable and cozy is bugs. Make sure, not bugs itself, but how to repel bugs. There are tons of ways you can repel bugs. What I've done, it works. Again, this stuff works for me. I'm not sure if it's going to work for you, but it works for me. Is a little trick. Bounce dryer sheet, unscented. You put that into your tent as soon as you set that up at night. It will it will not fully eliminate mosquitoes, but it will at least deter the mosquitoes going into your tent. Okay, I normally put them as well too in my cup holders and on my chair as well too. So again, it prevents the bugs coming in. I personally don't like using bug spray because for me it's just sticky and very uncomfortable. So I've got Thermacell. This episode is not sponsored by Thermacell, but I highly recommend that product handfold. It's one of my favorite things that I bought last year. It's been recommended by several camping YouTubers out there, especially Steve Wallace from Camping with Steve. He swears by it. I got one of those, and oh my gosh, it's one of the best thing I ever got myself. And since last year, knock on wood, I haven't used bug spray since just before the pandemic. And I've been using Thermacell since the beginning of last year's camping season. And it's great. It's amazing. Granted, you are going to pay for an arm and a leg for those discs, but it's worth it. It's great. I got the propane version. You can get the battery powered ones, or you can get the smaller propane, the travel one, because I don't do backcountry, so I have the isobutane version of it, not the propane. Sorry, isobutane, and it works for me. It's great, and I just put that where I'm gonna be sitting, let it go, let it run, and you'll be very very comfortable. There's no bugs. If you do get a bug, it's very very rare that you'll get it. It's the same thing as a bug spray. You'll get some mosquitoes, but you'll still get you'll the same thing. If you get a mosquito repellent, you'll get some mosquitoes still gonna try to bite you. Same thing as thermosol. It's not 100% deduct. It's not 100% gonna work for every single scenario, but at least it will eliminate as much as possible. So that's one big thing that I definitely recommend if you want to be cozy and comfortable while camping. The next one that I want to talk to you about is clothing. Clothing is very very important for you to make sure that you are comfortable. Be practical when you bring clothes with you when you go camping. Don't be it's not a fashion show, okay? If the most comfortable thing you want to wear while you're going camping is a sweater and a sweatpants and wool socks, go for it. No one's going to judge you. So I highly recommend that you look at your clothing that you want to wear in your camping, right? And be honest with yourself and be very, very comfortable. If you're honest with yourself regarding what you're planning to wear, you're going to be a lot more comfortable. Right. And shoes, be practical with your shoes as well too. Don't bring the most expensive shoes you have. Bring something that you're willing to destroy, but at the same time comfortable. I prefer using slip-on shoes instead of using shoes with laces on it. The reason why is, again, I personally don't like bringing my shoes inside the tent, because if your campsite is a little dirty or sandy, you don't want to attract it inside your inside your tent. So I remove my shoes outside, go inside my tent. Going back outside, I don't want to deal with lacing my shoes when I go outside. So that's why I use shoes that has no laces in it, especially when I go camping. Again, it's more comfortable for me. You should consider doing the same thing too. But look at it. There's tons of options out there. Slippers, flip-flops, sandals. Those are great options as well too. I suggest don't get anything that leather-wise. Just get something synthetic, because the weather can destroy that shoes pretty fast. So again, make sure your shoes that you're going to be using is the most comfortable thing. Shoes wear is great, but you have to be comfortable. Okay. Next is the food. Food. I've been told several times, you eat better while camping because everything is barbecued. Everything is better if it's barbecued. I eat way better when I'm camping. At home, you get so much options, right? But you're camping, you specifically look at things or eat things that you want to eat, like for weeks before your camping trip. You want to eat steak, you want to eat corn on cob, all that stuff. Now you're eating so much better in camping because you have time now. You have time to sit down, rest, think about what you're planning to eat, prepare it, eat well, and be merry. So eat the way you want to eat, be happy with what you're eating, and again, make it simple, and that will help make your experience more cozy and more comfortable while camping. Okay, so eat better than you're at home. Eat better while you're camping than at home. It works for me. Okay, so this one is a tricky one. This is probably my last tip for you guys regarding being cozy and comfortable in camping. It's actually how you sleep. Camping is probably the most enjoyable thing you're ever gonna have. Most comfortable thing because you're sleeping in a way that you hear everything. You feel comfortable. Some people don't like it. Some people do. I personally like sleeping outside. So to make it more comfortable is I use a cot. Doesn't matter if it's a high cot or a low cot. Get yourself a cot, a portable one. The reason why is because you're off the ground. Doesn't matter if you're off the ground by 12 inches to like 2 feet. Okay, at least you're off the ground, and that will eliminate any cold transfer between your back and the floor, the ground itself, right? And look at getting something like a sleeping pad on top of your cot. Again, that will keep you warm and cool. Warm in the winter, cool during the summer, because again, it limits that air transfer. It gives you that air barrier, like a barrier between the ground and your back itself, right? I personally use a cot, an air sleeping pad, a bed sheet, like a single bed sheet, right? And I put my pillow and I use my sleeping bag as a blanket. This setup I've been doing since last year, well, more than a year now, more than several seasons of camping, and it's one of those things that it just makes everything feel more comfortable, right? Because you feel like you're sleeping at home. You feel like if you feel like at home. I think the goal is to make sure that when you go camping, you feel like you're at home, and doing it that way, it will make it feel like at home. Also, inside my tent, I actually put a light in the middle of my, like, the roof part of my tent to give it a little bit more light around. The reason why I do that is, again, it's easier for you to change, not using a flashlight, right? In the same time, too, it will give you the ability to see what's actually around your tent. Because if you're relying on a lamp while changing, it can be very, very uncomfortable, because there's things that you're going to forget. There's things that you can't find until the next day. At least having a light in the middle of the tent to illuminate the area, it just helps a lot, right? And also, if you have eyeglasses or CPAP machine or anything like that, make sure you put it on top of a bag or anything that's actually a lot off the ground itself. Preferably something even with your cot. Reason why I'm suggesting that is, again, to give the illusion of what it feels like at home, right? Feels like you actually have a bedside table, right? All this stuff that I'm like telling you guys regarding like the cot and something on the table like that, you can get them you can get them and they pack small, right? And especially if you're going camping for more than 2 nights, do yourself a favor, set it up in a way that it's comfortable for you, because when you wake up in the morning, you want to be like, waking up. Next thing you look around, it's like, oh, this feels 50%. Sorry about that. Feels like 50%. 50% feels like home, right? And I don't know, to be honest with you, I just don't know what dropped. So sorry about that. It just feels like you're at home when that happened. So it is just nice to feel. It's just nice to have your campsite. Feels like at home, and you feel a lot more cozy, right? And don't be afraid to experiment regarding what you need, what you need to do, what you want to bring, all that stuff. So that's why it's very, very important, especially for me. I think you'll be feeling the same way too, that your first camp trip for in the coming season, it's going to be a lot more like, I'll bring everything except the kitchen sink feel to it. And if you're planning to go 3 or 4 times a year, by the time you get your second trip, you know exactly what you don't need after your first trip, right? And now you have less stuff to carry. That's going to be more comfortable. You don't have to worry about overpacking your car and all that good stuff. So it's a lot more experimenting regarding what you need to be comfortable. right? And don't be afraid to bring, if you want to bring a big, comfortable duvet on your camping trip, why not? It's your camping trip. You can do whatever you want. Feel free to do whatever you need to do. Just be comfortable and be warm. Be just be relaxed. Just relax, enjoy your trip, and I guarantee you by the time you get home, you're hooked and you want to go back out there again and go camping. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're hearing, consider supporting this podcast by buying me a cup of coffee. Link in the description. You can also visit campingwithlenny.com. There you can find other episodes and links that can help you on your next camping adventures. Thanks again.